It's your boy Captain Hunter coming at you again. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Make sure that you do me a favor, hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Let's make it do what it's got to do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I want to thank Miss Gabriella Cruella, Gabriella Cruella, for the suggestion for this particular story. A lot of information. Listen, I'm still catching up on. It is what it is, but I think it's an intriguing story, so therefore I'm all for it, you know. So she says, I just came across her channel and I'm here for it. Me too. I've been following this case so closely for months. Whenever Pink Book Lessons, shout out to Miss Pink Book Lessons, she's doing great work. Did her first video on Tiffany Henyard is when I became hooked. Given your position, what do you think about Chief Lacey in Dolton creating a false police report on Jedidiah Brown, saying that Mayor Henyard had an order of protection against Jedidiah Brown and one has never been filed? I love channels like yours and We the People, etc., because you all provide such valuable information. The thing is, things over in Dolton, Illinois are insane. Illinois, I should say. Somebody tried to correct me about that. So, you know, I'm from the East Coast, so we always debate about that. Illinois and Arkansas and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I know people out there with their smart mouths and keyboard warriors and all that, but, you know, everybody's not where you're from. So keep that in mind. I would value your opinion on this if you're something you're considering covering, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. You're so welcomed. I'm trying to get back into this. My stepson said I should do more content like this. You know, I was always covering police related stuff, but you know, this is kind of sort of related. So let me give my perceptions on the Jedidiah Brown thing. I can't find anything about this false allegations report. Now I'm going to play a TikTok video about that because I think that it's probably the best. Now, when I say I can't find any information, I'm looking for, you know, stories in the newspapers, right? Because people put all out different information, and I always question, you know, where you get their information from. I follow this guy on he follows the whole Disney, Marvel, Star Wars debacle that's going on there, and the fact that Disney's losing money. I have stock in Disney, so I care about what's going on. So anyway, I forgot to put my headphones in. So I couldn't find anything about it. I can't find anything about this particular story. I don't know. But I did find a TikTok video that we'll watch. Now I'm assuming what we're going to watch here is the Jedidiah Brown situation. So I'm assuming that this is the Jedidiah Brown. Now, I'm not from the Chicago area. I'm not from this part of town. So, you know, unless it's really, you know, national news like this situation, I don't know who a lot of these players are. So take that for what it is. But I'm assuming that this is the Jedidiah Brown that we're going to watch in the video. I'm assuming it's him. Now, this is an article from 3 years ago. Jedidiah Brown says he's no longer an activist, but will be walking from Atlanta to Chicago to highlight gun violence. I could say a lot about this type of thing, right? The whole walking down, you know, we all know gun violence is the problem. The question is, how do we solve it? I'm actually I'm slated to teach an advanced criminology course coming up this summer, and some forensic psychology courses coming up. So I could weigh in on this, but you know, the problems within our communities, poverty, you know, access to certain benefits that other people have had, yada yada yada. I'm not gonna hash that out right now because I get paid to do that kind of thing. So anyway. So I'm assuming that this is the Jedidiah Brown, and let's check out the video that I found on TikTok. Now, again, if anybody can send me an article from a reputable news source, that's where I try to get my information from. So if you have a reputable news source, an article that you can send me, and I looked in Google, I looked in Yahoo search engines, I couldn't find anything about it. So I'm assuming that this story is fairly new because the TikTok video is new. But we'll get into that right now, and we'll watch the video here. So shout out to this brother here. I'll try to make this a little bit more palatable so we can see it a little bit better. So we can see it, view it, and all that. So this is where I got this information from. I'll close this down a little bit. here so we can kind of watch that a little bit. So I'll make this a little bit bigger so we can see and hear what's going on. So this is supposedly this is one of the meetings that they had, one of the town hall meetings or whatever, and they're kind of laying into this lady. Now I'm going to break it up to talk about it a little bit, so let's just tune in for it.
So my name is Jedidiahbrown, and I'm homeless, so I could be everywhere. So with that,
now the reason that he says that he's homeless is because usually at town meetings like this, you have to have some type of stake in the community. Either you have to live there or you have to own property there or own a business there, right? So either you own homes there, you have a business there, or you have to live there. And so those are the people that they want to hear because you have a vested stake in the business. I'm going to close this up a little bit. You can go over to, what's his name, Measured Man, and go and check out his channel there. So that's where I got the information from. I just want us all to be able to view this a little bit better here. So that's why he's saying that he's homeless, because he's I don't know if he should be saying that if it's not true, but whatever.
that being said, to the young lady that was speaking, I want her to know that as a man that's advocating, I heard everything she said. And I'm asking for everybody to be as gentle and kind to the employees who have inherited this mess. We are not trying to attack the employees, but if you be disrespectful, we'll match it. And then with that being said, I would like to also make it very clear, we're not here for you. But because you work in this government, understand people's lives are affected by this government. And just like I care about the young lady who spoke, I care about the young lady who made sexual assault allegations and who confided in the leader. And the leader who had a constitutional duty to report that to the local Las Vegas police abdicated that duty so that she can sit there with nice hair and nice clothes and nice bottles of water. So if I'm going to protect one employee, I'm going to protect them all. But what I want to do here, because I don't live in this particular area of my homelessness, I want to say this to you, Tiffany. You had an opportunity as a black woman, as an elected official, to stand on the shoulders of so many of the most disrespected women in the history of this nation, to actually create something that would give generations behind you something that they can model after. However, this has been the Tiffany Henyard show. This place is completely your face is everywhere. You are.
Let me pause it right there for a second here. He's going to go on a little rant here. Again, I said I was going to pause this. His reference to the most disrespected woman was a reference to the late great Malcolm X, who talked about the black woman was the most disrespected person in America. That's what he's referencing here. And so there has been a push for, number one, for ladies, and for two, for black ladies to get into leadership positions because they have been so downtrodden, held back, kept back, etc. That the push has been that they would get into these offices and do better and be better and provide actual genuine leadership, actual genuine benevolence, transparency, accountability, respectability, and bring that to these offices. And so his point is, here Ms. Tiffany Henyard has been elected to this office for however she got there, and been the exact problem that people have been complaining about for all these years. So the case could be made, or people could say, it doesn't matter who sits in office, whether their race, their gender, their sex, sexuality. Corruption is corruption, politics is politics, etc., etc. So that's what he's referring to, and I have to agree with that. Listen, if you're going to sit in office, if you're going to be a part of the police department, if you're going to be a part of the political machines, then you should really do your best to uphold the standards and the levels of the Constitution. You know, when I was getting my degree in psychology, every single class that I had to take, and I mean this literally, every single class, you know, it's not that many, 9, 10 classes, whatever, for my master's, we had to write a paper, at least one paper about ethics, and then we had to take a whole separate class about ethics. So every single class that I took, you know, counseling methods, cultural competency, all these different classes I had to take, we all had to at least do one class about ethics, or one paper about ethics. You know, 1 week in our, you know, 1 week or one you know, was geared towards, one section was geared towards ethics. And then we had to take a full separate actual course class about ethics. So that's a lot of ethical training that we were getting. And so I'm sure, so if that, I'm getting that from psychologists and sociologists and psychiatrists, and, you know, politicians are no different. And we had ethics in the police department, right? Ethical training. I'm not saying it sticks all the time, but I'm saying it should stick. And, you know, when it's disappointing when we put people in these positions thinking that they're going to do and act differently, and they simply don't. So let's continue on.
Also, I know you got those banners inside of the village that you didn't put up yet. You could go ahead and put them up. We know what you own. But this is the thing. The reason why people should never vote for anything with this administration without knowing the facts is because they got a whole history of trying to hide their corruption. Nobody in good government, not even, especially not a super mayor, especially not a black woman who understands the role that you have and understands that the history that you're creating, there's going to be another black woman that's going to run, and she's going to be looked at through the lens of what you do in your governing. So when everybody say, oh, this is a black woman, we got to think about all black women. Because I know a lot of black women that's going to school right now, they aspire to be exactly where you were blessed. You were an illegitimate mayor. You were recalled by the people. However, you overcame it. That was God giving you an opportunity to make something of it and prove them wrong. But exactly what's happening, this is not people that's just disgruntled. But the Bible says that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And then Dr. Martin Luther King said that unrest is the voice of those that have not been heard. So what you're dealing with is people trying to figure out, how does a man that's homeless come to try to bring awareness to what's going on, like a police officer. I have a video of one of your officers having sex in your jail cell.
Ooh, he's coming bringing receipts. So yeah. I had a train of thought here. I forgot it. We'll continue on. Oh, I was thinking about how long is this? They letting this man go on for? You know, usually you get 1 or 2 minutes. I don't know how long they get in this particular town, but you know, man, they're letting him kind of go on, and she's just sitting there, just taking it, drinking her water.
I'm trying to figure out, how does a woman who you know have compromised sensitive investigative material, how do you have a woman who is unethical in every sense of the word, had an irresponsible relationship with your former chief's child, did it on company time in a company vehicle, and left the village when she should have been there protecting the citizens? She was trying to get her rocks off. This is what I'm trying to figure out. How does that woman become internal affairs for your police department, and then I get served with a restraining order today from that woman, and you allow her to be a police officer still in your department? With that being said, let me make it clear. If you're unethical on one side, we got to watch you on another. So the way you lead as a mayor is why we're handling you this way as a supervisor. And the best thing you can do with all the controversy is step aside and don't make these people have to go through another day, because I'm going to tell you something. Yes, you're beautiful. And yes, you have done you've done things that people have not done. But your presence is now a harm to these individuals. And then I'm going to ask you this one simple question, because this is what I'm really here for, and I can say so much, because I say you always give out receipts. I'm trying to figure out why not one time.
Before we get into that, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit here, because I want to hear that rant again. But you can't just fire people because you don't like their political leanings, politics, et cetera, or the connections in the police department, right? You got to go through investigations, right? I was in internal affairs for a little bit. You got to go through investigations. And so, you know, just because you don't like it, how things are going, doesn't mean you get to just fire people or just to reassign them. Now, she's got to do some type of investigation or show some type of transparency. I agree with that. But just having it removed, I'm going to rewind it a little bit here. So we'll play it from that point.
That's going to school right now, they aspire to be exactly where you were blessed. You were an illegitimate mayor. You were recalled by the people. However, you overcame it. That was God giving you an opportunity to make something of it and prove them wrong. But exactly what's happening, This is not people that's just disgruntled. But the Bible says that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And then Dr. Martin Luther King said that unrest is the voice of those that have not been heard. So what you're dealing with is people trying to figure out, how does a man that's homeless come to try to bring awareness to what's going on, like a police officer. I have a video of one of your officers having sex in your jail cell. I'm trying to figure out, how does a woman who you know have compromised, sensitive, investigative material, how do you have a woman who is unethical in every sense of the word, had an irresponsible relationship with your former chief's child, did it on company time in a company vehicle, and left the village when she should have been there protecting the citizens? She was trying to get her rocks off. This is what I'm trying to figure out. How does that woman become internal affairs for your police department, and then I get served with a restraining order today from that woman, and you allow her to be a police officer still in your department? With that being said, let me make it clear. If you're unethical on one side, we got to watch you on another. So the way you lead as a mayor is while we're handling you this way as a supervisor. And the best thing you can do with all the controversy is step aside and don't make these people have to go through another day, because I'm going to tell you something. Yes, you're beautiful, and yes, you have done you've done things that people have not done. But your presence is now a harm to these individuals. And then I'm gonna ask you this one simple question, because this is what I'm really here for, and I can say so much, because I say you always give out receipts. I'm trying to figure out why not one time have you got on anything and spoke to that young woman who said that she was sexually assaulted. I have seen no empathy from you at not no time. You've not spoke about her. You said you're okay. You talked about what you are doing, but what about what she's been going through for the last year? And I understand, let's not talk about an investigation while it was pending, but it wasn't pending until it was exposed. And she had to do it herself because you betrayed her. So my question now to you is, now that the media have put out the name of the accused trustee, Andrew Holmes, who is the only trustee who has an office in your building, I'm asking you this question. Are you going to call for his resignation? Are you going to fight or get him removed from office? Are you going to cooperate with a fair and transparent, thorough investigation into these sexual assault allegations? Are you going to apologize to that girl while you want us to be nice to this girl? And I'll leave you with this. This isn't personal for me, but I will be releasing everything that I have, and y'all can send every bit of paperwork. You can weaponize your police department, and you can look at me all smug. But I'll tell you what I do know. Everybody has their day. And I'm not afraid. So Jedidiah is here to stay.
Okay, Jedidiah is here to stay. So that's I'm assuming that's what it is. So maybe there's more articles coming, more professional articles coming and looking into exactly what he's saying. I'm sure that, you know, if it's on TikTok or whatever, I'm sure that some reporter somewhere is going to get a hold of this. And try to look into it. So I'm curious as to your thoughts, your opinions. My thoughts, my opinion. It's got to do an investigation. And if there's no, if all of this has turned out to be false, and all these, listen, this is the problem with corruption. This is the problem with corruption. This is the problem when you have individuals who are taking care of each other, you are putting people into assignments because you trust them, because you like them, because you owe them a favor, because their cousin is your cousin, because their cousin is, they've got some political favor that's owed somewhere down the line, and you put people in these positions who don't deserve it, who put people in these positions who, again, just owe you a favor, who you know that you can trust and get your will done and push forth your agenda. And, you got allegations of false reports being written, allegations of false protective orders being written, and these things have to go through judges and all this type of thing. So, there's a lot of work that's got to be done to get to the bottom of this. But it doesn't look good. And this man stood up there in this particular venue and said all this. Now, it doesn't look good in my estimation that he said he was homeless. Are you really homeless? I mean, he might have to, there's some credibility issues that have to be solved with that. But maybe he doesn't have a place to lay his head because he doesn't want the smoke from the government. He was an activist and trying to bring some attention, and sometimes that attention can come to you if you extra attention can come to you if you have addresses and other legal means. So anyway, so that's it. I just want to kind of put that out there. Thank you so much to Miss Gabriella Cruella for her suggestion about this. I was not aware of it. Listen, there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot to follow. And it's sad that the social media is so quick on things. But I try to be accurate, so that's why I try to look for information that is not only on social media, but also information that is has been published in the traditional media, because I try to be accurate. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Let's get the conversation going in the comments. Much love and peace, everyone.